So for step 13, the battery holder, you can see that we've got these two end pieces that have to be attached to the chassis. There's this brace, which actually is going to take that metal bar right through the middle of it. And then you've got the screws that we needed, a step screw, and then later on we're going to attach the other side, run that metal bar through here and through this brace here, and install the gearbox onto the chassis. So I think the first thing we're going to do is let's work on putting these pieces in and the braces here, and then we'll move on to actually installing the gearbox. So first off, let's attach the left battery holder to the chassis. So you can see we've already got that turned upside down, and you can see the 3 screw hole points. That's going to fit over top of there, and it's just going to sit in there like that. So we need to put in the 3 screws. So we'll grab 3 here. Again, I won't go all the way. Grab the other one. And grab the other one. So that's going to sit just like that on the one side. So if we look at the next piece, which is this bracket here and the other little cap basically that's going to hold it on, you can see that in the diagram there's a wider section on the bottom and narrower on the top. So it actually fits in like this, and it's going to sit behind everything, not in front but behind. And the thing is, you're not going to make a mistake here because it can't go in the other way. So if you were trying to put it in that way, the cap won't fit. There's no way for it to fit. So if you flip it around and then you put the cap on, you'll see it perfectly fits together. So we'll screw that one in now. Grab one of the screws. And MA5, yes. Just make sure that it's in, which it is. So now let's screw it some more. Okay, so there is the bracket that's in place. Now there's a little bit of play, so it's in, it's tight, and it's loose a little bit, which is fine. It's meant to be like that. So the next part is actually attaching the gearbox. So we're going to slide this metal bar through the gearbox itself, and then through the little bracket, and then into the other side. So we'll do that now. So if we grab the gearbox, grab the car, grab the bar, we're going to take the bar, and you can see it's going, you can see it in there. But beforehand, we're going to actually make sure it goes into the car. and into the other side. So now you can see it's in right through that bracket as well. So then the next step is going to be taking the other side bracket that we were working on before, putting it over top of there, and then screwing in the 3 screws again on this side. So I'll just start it off. And the other one right there. Okay, and there we go. So there is the suspension, and you can see that there's going to be some play once the shocks go in, so there'll be some side to side, but that brace is actually helping to stop any sort of slap that goes on. It's an improvement definitely over the Hornet, for example. So I'll just make sure that those screws are fully in. So one other thing that I forgot to add to this is you'll see here with the right battery holder, it requires the step screw into this top part. So if we were looking at this on this side, we actually need to attach this step screw right there, which I know it has to do with the battery, the battery holder piece, so that you can slide the battery on and off. There's an attachment, so I'll just screw that in. There we go. So you can see that's how it's going to look. So now that that is finished, we can now move on to step 14, which is attaching the rear dampers. So for step 14, we need the step screws and then of course our rear shocks. But just like what we did with the front ones, we need to use the grease to grease the shock shaft. So I'll grab that same grease that we used for the front shocks, pull this back, and let's grease this up. And you can tell immediately there's a noticeable difference once the grease gets onto those shafts. Before it's kind of sticky, like you can feel that the thing's going in and out, but there's no lubricant whatsoever. So that's a huge change, because I can feel like you can hear it even. Right? You can hear the metal to plastic. So if we do the same thing again, hear the difference? Before there was sort of like a grinding kind of sound as it went in and out. So that's much, much better. So that makes all the difference. So now what we can do is grab the body and attach them to the chassis. So let's do this first one here. You can see that the step screw is going to go one into here and one into that back end of the gearbox right there. using the step screws. And of course, the way they've got this laid out, it looks like they want you to have the screw in the damper facing out. We'll grab one of those and stick it in there. And grab the screwdriver. Okay, so that one's in. Grab the other step screw, put that in, and now we're going to squeeze it back and attach it to the gearbox. Sure that's level, which it is. Okay, so there is one of the shocks in place. So I'll just go ahead and do the other one. It's going to be exactly the same, and we'll come back. So there you have it. There is the suspension in place. We've got the side-to-side action that it can do, and there's actually quite a bit of travel. Kind of an interesting design, having the shocks almost at a horizontal level, but there we go. There is the chassis with everything attached. So we can now move on to step 15, which is the steering servo. So I've got to get all the parts together, and then we'll do the installation of that.